Hello friends! If you're new to my channel, welcome and thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy it. If you are a fan or a subscriber, welcome back and thank you for the patronage. I deeply appreciate it. Today I will be talking about the Knights Templar in the late 13th century. Not much else I need to say, so let's get on with the video. On September 3rd, 1260, at An-Julat, Mamluk forces under the command of Sultan Saif ad-Din Kutuzov annihilated the Mongol army. The Mamluks were elite slave warriors that had been a mainstay in the Egyptian army for a century. They had recently gained power in Egypt, putting an end to the rule of Saladin's descendants. Kutuzov was soon ousted, replaced by Baybars, who damaged the Franks more than anyone since Saladin. In the 1260s, the Franks suffered a number of defeats in the Holy Land by the hands of Baybars. Templar and Hospitaller strongholds fell during this decade. Pope Clement IV called for a new crusade after the problem of Frederick's descendants had been dealt with. As promised, King Louis of France sent money, but even after that, the appeals for money from the Holy Land was never ending. Antioch fell on May 18, 1268, and the Templar Grand Master decided that some possessions could not successfully be defended, so they were abandoned. Prince Edward of England, leader of the last crusade, persuaded the Mamluk Sultan to agree to a 10-year truce in April of 1272. Edward returned to England upon the death of his father to become Edward I. In May of 1274, the Pope convened the Council of Lyon to consider a new crusade, but an agreement could not be reached. The Holy Land was riddled with disputes, most of which centered around claims to the throne. The Templars supported Charles of Anjou. The dispute started when King Hugh III of Jerusalem got fed up because the Templars seemingly didn't adhere to any law but their own. Hugh tried twice to reclaim his throne, but failed both times. The Templars became embroiled in a civil war in the county of Tripoli between 1277 and 1282, a move that did nothing to enhance their reputation. The Templar Grand Master, at that time Guillaume de Beaujeu, was deemed untrustworthy after that. However, he did get the Mamluks to agree to another 10-year truce in 1282, which they broke in 1285. In July 1277, Baybars died, and Calavan, his successor, wanted to finish the work. Latakia, a coastal city, fell to the Mamluks in April 1285, followed by the Hospitaller stronghold Al-Markab in May. The Templars had a double agent in the Mamluk army who warned them that Tripoli was in danger, but because of the untrustworthiness of the Grand Master, it was not heeded. Tripoli finally fell in April of 1289. In 1290, a new wave of crusaders arrived at Acre, but they resembled the men of the First Crusade, that is, criminals and drunkards, who started a riot in which Muslim traders were killed. Calavan used this as a pretext to attack the city. Calavan died in November, but the attack on Acre went on as planned on April 5, 1291. Calavan's son Al-Ashraf Khalil assumed command of the army. On April 15th, Guillaume de Beaujeu led a night attack, but the Templars had to retreat after getting tangled in the tent ropes. The Templars and Hospitallers turned away a Mamluk assault at St. Anthony's Gate on May 15th, but were unable to keep the Muslims out indefinitely. On May 18th, the Muslims stormed Acre. Guillaume de Beaujeu was injured and died that evening. The entire city, with the exception of the temple area, fell to Muslim control. On May 25th, the Templar Marshal agreed to surrender if the Muslims granted the safety of all who had taken refuge in the compound. They broke their word and were beaten back by the Templars. As a result, there was no surrender. That night, the Templar commander set sail from Acre with the Templar treasure. 3 days later, the compound fell. Those inside fought to the death. A message came from the west advising all to leave the Holy Land. On July 14th, the Templars abandoned Sidon and Hoffa fell on July 30th. Tortosa and Atlit were still in Templar hands, but they were cut off and the Templars were forced to leave. They evacuated Tortosa on August 3rd and abandoned Atlit on August 14th. The Templars never returned to the Holy Land. Well, friends, we've come to the end of another episode. If you like this kind of content, hit the like button, press the subscribe button, and if you would like to be notified when I come out with new content, please hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Discord, Twitter, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this episode. Question everything and never be afraid. Here are a couple of videos from my library. If you have not watched them, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I used for this particular episode. Remember, I am now taking requests. You can leave those in the comment section. Goodbye, friends.